Okay, everyone, we're live.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of OKSA Connects. The topic for today's discussion is Education and Training Voucher Program, short for ATV. ATV program helps people who have experienced foster care by providing funding and support to help them achieve their educational goals. One of our guests on the show is Ashley Nouri, the Education and Training Voucher ETV Program Supervisor with Oklahoma Successful Adulthood and Oklahoma Human Services. And we're very fortunate to have Dominic Tucker, a young person receiving ETV services, on the show to share their firsthand experiences with this program and how the program can benefit young people. We will discuss the pathways available for youth working towards their educational and career goals and how ATV can support these goals in several different ways. So before we dive into the topic, I would like to briefly introduce our amazing guests. Ashley Nouri is one of our guests. Ashley Nouri's lived experience as a foster youth inspires her to advocate for and with current and former foster youth. She encourages them to find their strength and utilize them to overcome challenges and achieve their goals. Ashley was a contracted employee with OKSA for 2 years before becoming the first full-time education specialist for ATV in 2015. She has helped redesign the program to better assist foster alumni with achieving their goal of post-secondary education. She graduated from the University of Oklahoma with a master's in social work, but she's still loyal and true to her alma mater, OSU, where she graduated with a bachelor's in science. And our other guest, Dominic Tucker, is one of 10 siblings adopted and raised by their single mother, Julie Tucker. With her support, Dominic currently attends Oklahoma State University studying music performance program with a focus on piano. He serves as the director of music at St. John's Student Ministry and had the honor to lead their choir on Sunday mornings. His plan is to go to graduate school and pursue a career in musicology. Thank you so much, both Dominic and Ashley, joining us today to share your valuable experience and expertise on the matter. So just to start off, Ashley, could you tell us what is ATV and who can benefit from it? What are the eligibility criteria in Oklahoma for young people to receive ETV vouchers?
Yeah, the ETV scholarship, it awards up to $5,000 per academic school year to help cover expenses that are related to cost of attendance, like fees, tuition, books, and even room and board. And to be eligible, you had to have been in DHS custody after the age of 18 or left custody through adoption or guardianship after the age of 16. Or third option, you would have had to have been in custody for 9 months after the age of 16.
Thank you for briefly explaining that. Dominic, you're a young man with a great story. Could you tell us a little bit about your story, your successes, and how you managed to beat the odds to become the person that you are today?
So basically, I had 6 biological siblings. We kind of floated from house to house up until about 2012 when we had one mom, Julie Tucker, my mom. She was a single mom who already had 4 kids, 2 of whom already graduated. And she took us all in 2012, took us half of us at first and then the other half later, so little bit by bit. And she adopted us all in 2016. and I was accepted into OSU in 2018 and began working as the director of music for St. John's in 2018 around the same time. And I couldn't have done it without any of my siblings' help. I think that's probably my most attributed successes for them.
Thank you. What an amazing person to affect so many lives. Ashley, to go back to ATV, tell us what type of post-secondary programs do young people who receive ETVs attend? Like, what are the different programs? This is for other young people listening to this and wondering what I could be studying. So what type of post-secondary programs do young people usually receive?
Yeah, so the ETV scholarship, the criteria is that the program that they're attending has to be Pell eligible, so eligible for the Pell Grant or other federal financial aid. So we have had students that are in tech programs all over the state. We have community colleges, four-year universities, and we even have a couple of grad students.
Thank you. So is there a time limit for how long they can receive these services?
Yes. So the age requirement is 26. It's technically 27 until September 30th. So I don't want to confuse people. So in 10 days, it'll be back to 26. They extended it because of COVID. And the other requirement is that they have a lifetime maximum of $25,000 from the scholarship. So do the math, you can't have more than 5,000 per academic year. So that's about equal to 5 years. So if you get like your bachelor's degree in 4 years, then you still have another year of funding left.
Yeah, that's a very good help for a lot of people. Dominic, tell us your story. How did you learn about ATV and how did you find your ATV coordinator?
So actually, I haven't heard about ETV before I was adopted. It wasn't until I was about 17 or 18, I can't remember right now, when they actually contacted me and they just kind of let me know, like, hey, you're getting free money, you can receive this and stuff like that. I was
like, why not?
I was like 18-year-old, I was like, you can sign me up any day. But they were like, it's fine, you already signed up when you were adopted. I was like, okay, so I didn't have to do anything, which is great for me because I'm terrible at doing stuff. But so they essentially reached out to me and let me know all of their programs that they offered with it. And as for how I reached Ashley, I think it's based on your coordinator is based on what school you go to, and I chose OSU, which is the one Ashley went is heading over. So that's kind of how me and Ashley met through that.
I see. Ashley, one of the questions that I came across is how does ETV differs from the tuition fee waiver? If there is difference, can the students use both services?
Yeah, so the tuition waiver only waives tuition. It's not like a cash amount or anything like that. So it'll match whatever your tuition costs. A lot of the schools will combine tuition and fees, which can be a little confusing, but just to be clear, it only waives tuition. So you'll still have to pay for the fees, the books, room and board, whatever is left on your bill after the tuition is waived. And so that's when the ETV scholarship will come in to help cover those expenses that haven't already been waived with the tuition waiver.
Mm-hmm. And they can use both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. They can use both. The eligibility criteria is that they have to have been in DHS custody for 9 months after the age of 16 and going to a public Oklahoma college. So private schools, they are not obligated to accept the tuition waiver. Sometimes we look out and they are willing to work with us on that, but they are not required to accept it and they cannot be used out of state. But the ETV scholarship can be used in another state if they wish to go to out-of-state school, or if they choose to go to private school, the ETV scholarship can be used there.
Mm-hmm. Dominic, has being eligible for an ATV services affected your college enrollment or college experience in general in any way?
Yeah, actually, I would say it's definitely changed most aspects of my college experience, just because, you have a single mom with 10 kids, you can only help
Yeah.
out so much. And so having like ETV really kind of step in, and like my mom really appreciated it immensely, because I mean, it took a load off of her, and also it helps me because, I mean, for instance, I think I was 18 years old. I busted my wheel and like or cracked my rim, something like that, really bad. So I needed a
Yeah.
repair, but obviously I didn't have any money at the time with me, and so ETV really came in because they have a variety of services. I think vehicle repair is one of them, and
Mhm.
so like it really came in handy right then, because I would have taken another job, really would have made school a lot harder and a lot more tough. And not that I mean, like, ETV definitely helped out with that a lot and really helped me. They've saved me a lot of times.
That's really awesome. So in a way, those extra stressors are off your shoulders. You could just focus on school.
Yeah. And I think that's the great. I think that's the biggest advantage it's given me, is helped me like really focus, like just focus on school, and particularly like my program is really demanding, hours wise, and so like I needed that extra time, and ETV kind of like came in and like, one, it helped me like save money in the long run because I don't have to take loans out, and two, it helped me in the short term at times when I had like car problems, and like loans wouldn't help with that. ETV could always just help with that. And anytime I have a problem, the first person I text is, I'm like, hey, Ashley, can you guys help with this? Like, I mean, before I pay for it, I might as well have someone else try.
Let me just check if it's covered.
Yes, yeah, essentially, it's like, it doesn't hurt to ask. And most of the time, like sometimes it is, like vehicle stuff it is. But when it isn't, it still helps out whether or not, I still have
Definitely.
that option to go there and check.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, pandemic has caused the expansion of ATV. Could you explain what are those expansions and what does that look like?
Yeah, so some of the expansions are ending in 10 days. So I'm not going to go over those because I feel like it's just going
Just an
to
FYI.
confuse people and burst some bubbles. So I'm just going to talk about the one that's going to extend until September 30th of 2022. They've increased the maximum. So earlier I said that it's up to $5,000 per academic school year. Well, until September 30th of 2022, it's going to be extended to $12,000 maximum. But there's a little caveat to that. We cannot award more than what is allowed in the cost of attendance, and they only send us so many funds. So it kind of depends on how many students we have enrolled and need-based and stuff like that. So it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody's going to get $12,000.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, but I wish it was that easy. But it is, they did increase it. So that way, if somebody does have an unmet need and they still owe a balance after they've received 5,000, then we may be able to look into seeing if we can provide additional funding.
Yeah, that's really great. I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people in need. Dominic, what are some of your lessons learned from your journey so far that you think other young adults would benefit from knowing those things?
I would say like ETV kind of like, it helped me taught to like always give back a little bit to other people, especially like my siblings. Unfortunately, they were adopted before they were 16, so they didn't meet most of the eligibilities. And so because I have this opportunity, I feel like it's best to give back to them sometimes, and just help them with whatever they need. And so I feel like it was just a good lesson to have. I mean, like something that ETV really helped me, is that a helping hand can really go a long way. It's a lot farther than you think it would.
Yeah.
So ETV has really helped teach me that lesson and really ingrained that in me.
Mm-hmm. In a way, it's taught you how just a little help can go a long way with someone in need.
Essentially, yeah. And, I was that person in need when ETV reached out, and thankfully, they helped a lot. But also, ETV really gave me like a chance to share my story with other people. Like there's a lot of opportunities that come with being in ETV. Like you meet other foster care advocates in here that also have it in the same program. And so just like talking to them, you like can get a little humbled by their story sometimes, or you can just, it's good to share your story with other people, have others take their own lessons from it. And so ATV has really like helped me broaden my horizons really. In terms of
That's really great. Yeah. I guess given the benefits that it provides, Ashley and Dominic, I'm asking both of you, how do how do you think supportive adults or caregivers direct the young people that they know to these services? How can they help them receive these services?
Well, I will start by saying that Dominic was very lucky that we found him. It doesn't always work out that way. So it's a lot easier for people to come to us. I think Dominic heard about it because we have some plans in place to like try to track down people, but it's really hard to do it that way. So if you guys come to us, it's a lot easier. You can send an email to the OKSA email, which I don't know if is somebody putting those in the chat or is that
yes, James will be putting that in the Facebook Live chat.
Okay, perfect. So the OKSA email, the OKSA website, there's a little education tab and there's like a ton of information about ETV along with a bunch of other opportunities in there. And then it also has all the staff on there, like assigned to what schools and everything. Or you can call the Yes I Can number, which is the 1-800 number. I believe James will also put in the chat. Thank you, James.
From my side, I would say most of the foster parents that I've talked to, like they hadn't ever really heard of ETV, and so like I was really lucky that they reached out to me, like Ashley said. But my mom was more like my adopted mom was more annoyed because she hadn't heard about that offer before, and she really wished she kind of had just had a little bit of knowledge before. She was really glad I was accepting it, but she really wished that like others really knew about it. So I mean, I kind of take it upon myself to like any foster parent I meet or any foster kid I tell, I'm just like I tell them like, hey, look at ETV, research ETV. You know, they have essentially free money that they want to help you out. And I would say like if you or anyone you know like knows about ETV or know any foster parents, definitely get the word out to them and just let them know and direct them to the OKSA website, I believe, and or the OKFI Facebook page or any other website like that. Just get the word out to them. That's one problem that we had is just not knowing about it.
Yeah. I guess kind of along the same lines of ETV's outreach to supportive adults, caregivers, or other young people. Dominic, how satisfied are you with the current initiatives to incorporate perspective of young people on ATV programs? So do you think it's good enough? Do you have any more suggestions how they can make it better? Because it is a program for young people, and their perspective needs to be considered because it's meeting their need.
Yeah, good question. I would say just like have ETV reach out to like foster parents on their own because like most foster parents just don't even really know about it, and I think that's like the saddest part is like they have that stress of like I know a lot of foster parents personally who like stress about having to pay for their college, and they know that they can receive some like government services from Pell Grant, and I believe DHS, and if you're an Indian or Native American, ICAW also offers some services. But I think in terms of like for young children, especially young adults, I think ETV is the best one out there for them. The main problem is just reaching out to them and like letting young people know that this option is here. I mean, whenever I was planning for college, it wouldn't have really changed my outcome because I wanted to go to OSU, but I know that for some people, like if they want to go to like a public university, having that option there, that ETV will be able to back them up, can probably influence their decision. So I would say just like a little bit more outreach to those people who really benefit from it is a lot of it more required. But I know that in the past few years, I know that they've been really broadening that and that they've been doing really well. I mean, like I knew a couple of people who like at ETV that reached out to a couple of people for them. And so I know that lately they've been doing really well, but I would say a little bit more reach out would definitely go a long way.
Yeah, it could use some more effort, what I'm hearing. Thank you, both of you. Before I ask my next question, I just want to let the viewers and listeners know that if you have any questions, feel free to use the chat function or the comments function and send your questions to Dominic and Ashley. I guess the next question I have is both of you, whoever has the answer to it, is, are there any instructional videos, social media pages, or a specific person that people can refer to if they need to learn more about ATV? Like Dominic, you mentioned your mom wished that she knew more about it. So are there things that people can go to and learn more about it?
I know that for at least on my end, on the receiving end, whenever OKFIA, the Oklahoma Former Youth Associates, at least here at OSU, that was always like a group that I could join because most of them are former youth and used to be in foster care. Some have either aged out of the system or they each have their own story. And so once I reached out to that, and even then Ashley's the one who suggested it and kind of like brought me into that group. They have a lot of opportunities like a lot of speaking opportunities to share your story, and plus you get paid too, which is always nice. To talk, which is count me in. Like they have a lot of resources on their Facebook page that they can go to, and that's where I got a lot of my ATV information. It's just a bunch of people to reach out to, having a lot of people that like kind of had the same experience as a foster person or as a person who was adopted, former foster care child. It was always a little awkward in high school because obviously no one else was in that same situation. But you go to OKFIA, which is like I believe it's on most university campuses, or on a lot of university campuses. Having those people there around with you kind of like makes you feel a little bit more included and more not like a black sheep compared to everyone else. And I believe James said that, OKFIA stands for Oklahoma Foster Youth Association.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can actually email that OKSA email if you have a youth or young adult that might be interested in learning more on how to get involved with the Oklahoma Foster Youth Advocates group. So that's a really good peer group to have. And also my go-to is always the OKSA page. There's all kinds of information on there, not just education related, but the education tab, there's a lot of really good resources. And then also if somebody wanted to talk to a specific person, they could always contact me. I don't know if James wants to put my contact info in there. And they also have like a staff page on the OKSA website as well with all of the different staff and their contact information if you need it.
Yeah, I know that if anyone ever asks me about where they can get any information for ATV, I just send them Ashley's number and their email address. It's the easiest way.
Send them her way.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I think what Dominic, what you said, I'd like to reiterate, like OKFIA is just a good place to be where there are a lot of people who share similar experiences and similar backgrounds. So you don't feel like you're the only one. There are a lot of other people that can relate. So it's a good group for young people to join.
And it's a very humbling experience too, because sometimes like if you're in foster care, you can kind of get this like, oh, my story is like the most tragic story, but then you hear others and you get a little bit humbled by their experiences. It's a very good learning opportunity where you realize like sometimes they didn't have it as bad, or sometimes they had it better, because a lot of foster parents are there, and sometimes that's their first experience either hearing about it or it's good to hear from someone receiving ETV benefits what it's like.
Thank you for sharing that. Are there any resources either of you may recommend for individuals pursuing higher educational goals, just in general?
I have a couple. Oklahoma's Promise, they actually just extended the grade limit on when you can apply. It used to be by the end of your 10th grade year, but they extended it to 11th grade. So I believe it's 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th graders can apply for Oklahoma's Promise, because I love ETV and the tuition waiver, but the more scholarships you can get, the better. And then another really good scholarship resource is the Oklahoma City Community Foundation, OCCF.org. They have hundreds of scholarships on there. And then again, I'm going to say it probably for the millionth time, the OKSA website, they have a ton of other educational resources. And then I also like to go into the employment tab on the OKSA website. They have like a few career assessment websites. One of my favorite ones is mynextmove.org. So you can kind of like do like a little personality quiz or whatever and see what kind of careers might actually draw your interest. Those are all I can think of off the top of my head. Do you have any, Dominic?
I would say for like Native American youth and especially people in ICW, always try and reach out to your tribes because I've heard from like a lot of different people that like a lot of tribes do offer scholarships. There's just not a lot of tribal children like able to accept it. Like for instance, OSU has a massive, I want to say like Potawatomi scholarship, but no one can really take it because no one's Potawatomi. So I would say like if you are a Native American, try to reach out to your tribe. They almost always offer a lot of scholarships there, and they almost always offer grants more than anything, so you don't have to pay it back, which is always nice. And of course, like Ashley said, just look at the Oklahoma's Promise website. FAFSA is like one of my biggest like blessings right now, just because like they give you free money that you don't have to pay back, which as a college student is always nice. Free money is great. So yeah, for sure. And then the OKFIA Facebook page, I would say like reach out there if you're interested in that. Specifically, like I don't know if they have a website, but I know they have a Facebook page that has a lot of different members, and I know that if you ask any question in there, they will almost always help you out. So then that's where I found out a lot about my ETV knowledge.
So I do have to point out, you mentioned FAFSA, which I failed to mention. So thanks, Dominic. FAFSA is another really important one. That's how you get the Pell Grant. And there's a specific question on there that you mark if you were in DHS custody after the age of 13. And when you mark that, then you are considered independent, which means you won't have to put whether you were adopted after 13 or went into guardianship or any of that, you don't have to put any of their income. You would just put your own income, and typically that makes them eligible for the full Pell Grant, which is, they keep raising it, so I can't keep track, but I know it's over $6,000. They raise it like every year, the last couple of years, so.
Yeah, I would say FAFSA is like the biggest opportunity just because, government sends you free money, and especially, I think, I like it a little bit more just because it extends after the 13 age threshold rather than like after the 16-year-old that I know ETV kind of offers. So I would say like there's a wider margin for like people to like be a part of it and get the full benefits from it.
Yeah. Those are all really great resources, and I hope James was able to put all the links in the comment section. At this point, I want to open the floor to our viewers and listeners. If they have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And while people send their questions, Dominic and Ashley, is there anything you would like to say, message or information about yourself or anything that you would like to share with our viewers?
I don't have anything to plug, I'm sorry.
I think I went over everything. I don't think of anything.
All right.
I am going to put some links because I feel like I named off a ton of resources. So I'm going to put some links in the chat.
Okay, that would be very helpful. I think we do have a question. What's been the hardest part about going to college?
This one is for me. But I would say at least for me, the hardest part about college is the time management. mission is, being a full-time student is literally being a full-time student. You're always doing it, and you're always working bell to bell is what I call it, from 9 to 9 or 8 to 8, working almost 12 hours straight. And, at least the music program that I'm in is very demanding. You got to practice all the time. You got to make sure your skills are like always refining. And so I would say the hardest part about college is definitely just trying to manage all of that time. I mean, before, when I was in high school, the public school, you go from like 8 to 3, you come home, that's it. Whereas like in college, you're always doing something every second of the day. And, being a director of music is a little bit demanding. You're always having to go to like different churches around town and doing this and that. But I would say that's probably the biggest benefit ETV has also brought me, is because I'm like doing all this, the money and the funds that ETV offers me, it allows me to actually have this time and dedicate it to it. And so I would say the biggest blessing ETV has given me is the ability to just focus on what I want to do and what I really care about doing.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, because especially with the time management, I think it keeps going on until adult life, because even if you're graduated, you still need to manage time. So it's a very good skill to have, even though it's challenging.
Yeah, and I will say I'm a chronic procrastinator. I'm a really bad procrastinator. So I would say like the fact that ETV, allows a little bit of leeway room, it definitely
helps.
It helps as much as I can. As a procrastinator, any help you'll take, even if it'll push off the deadline even further.
Yeah. The other question we have is, will ATV pay for master's degree?
It can. Like I said earlier, everything kind of depends on how much funds we have available. And as long as you are under the age of 26 and you haven't used your lifetime amount of $25,000, which again is about equal to 5 years, then yes, you can use your remaining ETV scholarship for grad school.
Thank you.
I believe that's what you did, Ashley, right?
Yes, I was an ETV student and they helped pay for my first year of grad school.
Yeah, I'm really sad because I'm going to be a 5th year, and like after this, it's just nothing. It's not all my benefits in, and I'm really sad. I'm going to be honest.
Well, it seems like those are the questions that we had from our viewers and listeners. Ashley and Dominic, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing your valuable personal experience and also valuable information with our audience. I'm sure it will go a long way, and hopefully it will change lives down the line. Thank you so much.
Anytime.
Thank you.